Last year, the government had created a new fund, Research, Development and Innovation Fund, meant to support our startups that are engaged in deep tech activities. The first round of funding from this fund has recently been completed, and this story is about who has received the money from this fund. This is Amitabh Sinha, Climate and Science Editor for the Indian Express. Last year, the government had created an RDI fund, Research, Development and Innovation Fund. Its purpose was to provide low-cost, long-term finance to startup companies engaged in deep tech activities. The first round of funding for these companies has recently been completed. 22 companies have received soft loans worth a total of about 2,200 crore rupees from this fund in the first round of funding. A small issue that has cropped up is the fact that of these 22 selected companies, 15 are those in which the members of the selection panel themselves had financial interest. Now, this situation was very well foreseen and adequate steps had been taken to mitigate the conflict of interest situation. The members from the selection panel had to recuse themselves from the evaluation process of the companies that they had interest in, and this process was followed for all the members and for all the companies. So there has been no wrongdoing as such, but the question that is now being asked is whether this is adequate and whether additional safeguards need to be put in place, considering that this is public money that is being provided to private sector. Now, the selection panel has 12 members, 11 of which are from the same deep tech ecosystem. And this was done deliberately to ensure that people who are selecting these companies have a very good knowledge of the ecosystem and have a history of backing and investing in successful companies. So the contention is that if you are looking for those kind of people in your selection panel, these kind of possible potential conflict of interest situations would arise because the people who have a very good knowledge or the people who are operating in this ecosystem would obviously have interests in this ecosystem. They would be connected to the ecosystem. So the best way to deal with this kind of a situation is to have upfront declarations, proper transparency code, and mandatory recusal. And it seems all these were followed. The counter argument made by someone like Praveen Chakravarti of the Congress party, who had asked a question in Rajya Sabha about this last week, is that because this is public money that we are dealing with, should there be additional safeguards that need to be put in place?
As Amitabh explained, that this is a public fund that was created, the nature of the fund is public, and there are private people, sitting on the board. So there is a potential concern over conflict of interest. So what is the real issue that is there? If you look, all the 11 members, I mean, one is the non-voting member, but all the other 11 members who are voting and who are clearing the investment proposals, they are all private members. Out of the 124 companies that had applied, 22 finally got this money. The 2,200 crore got distributed among nearly 22 companies. Of these 22 companies, 15 are the ones where one of these 7 members have an interest. What kind of interest is there? I mean, either they are a director in one of the investment funds which has invested in one of these companies, or they are directors, or they have a personal stake in the company which has received the fund. If you see, of the 2,200 crores that have been dispersed, these 15 companies have garnered around 63% of the fund, which is around 1,300 crore. To be precise, it's 1,375. It has been cornered by these 15 companies. So yes, there is a concern because the majority, it is not just one company that has got the money. I mean, out of the 22, 15 of them have potential conflict of interest concerns. Yes, they are all credible individuals. These are all credible companies, but there are many others out there in the open, and uh, these individuals are sitting there. I mean, obviously talking for, they can back their companies, nothing to take away from the credentials of those companies. But the concern is, but the question that arises is, should there be government people? Should there be intellectuals from the industry? Should there be intellectuals from the academy? Should there be academicians or experts in those industries who should be there to check on the companies that should get the fund? Or should there be only these people who are part of the ecosystem and who are sitting and vetting and verifying, while most of them say that yes, they and it remains a fact that they had recused themselves, but but still, I mean, there are some questions that linger around, and which is why a parliamentary question was also raised, and which brought this concern to light.